think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wanted to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me. Our goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. It feels so good to be back. I hope everybody's doing well this evening. This weekend I did a little content, man, made bust a little moves here and there, but I said, man, I'm gonna try to scope out the fights. I didn't call them. I wanted to call it, but I didn't call them. And I just had time to kind of siphon through what's going on out here, man, as far as the information and the mindsets of everybody. Salute, Cookie Monster. Body Work. Salute. Sounding good. Thanks for that sound check. I appreciate that. But I've been getting a pulse on everything and then siphoning through all of the information that's out here. I heard some crazy takes. And man, it was a whole lot of Monday morning quarterbacks. I mean, I never knew so many people knew so much about this guy, Murtazaliev. It's like people coming out talking about odds and what people didn't know and this and this and that. And it's really, man, it's so crazy, man. It's so crazy how people's conversation tend to differ depending on the promotional company they're going for, man. I'm like, so now because Tim Tszyu was being ambitious, because he went to go fight Murtazaliev, now it was bad matchmaking. I said, man, that's kind of weird. That feels kind of weird to me as a fan when people say that, man. When somebody loses and somebody say something like that, man, it as a fan, man, it made me feel kind of weird, man. I'm like, so what do you want? Like I told y'all, man, there's a lot of people, man, they just want to be associated or they want to associate with winning. So once somebody win, they can be on the bandwagon, they can do their thing. But like if they're not winning, they're gonna just take their liberties to be all, whatever. It's like win, lose, or draw. You should still respect Tim Tszyu. Win, lose, or draw. Now is if you look at him going in there against Fundora and then him, I'm like, okay, but just the other day, I remember when Fundora was coming up, people were saying he was a hype job. He was doing this thing, and then when Mendoza put him down, everybody was like, oh, see, I told you. Now they back on the whole, it's crazy when it comes to this one promotional company, man. And I'm thinking, man, now I'm thinking naturally, the people who, if they were putting on gloves and being active, man, naturally these guys would be fighting. That's what's so wild. The guys that love to criticize them are the guys who, if they were putting up the gloves, lacing them up, they'd probably be fighting with them. They would probably be fighting with them. But I'm like, everybody, I was like, man, we can't get too high or too low off of the losses. the loss that Tim Zoo had, the 2 losses, man. I mean, he was in there with some formidable people. That's what happens, like, right? That's what happens. And immediately, as soon as the fight was over, and it really dawned on me, like, dang, this man stood his turf. I got to thinking, IBF. Because I remember when I did this to show that I keep the same energy. I was talking about this when I was talking about Subriel Matias coming up and doing the same thing for Boots. Y'all remember that? Y'all don't remember that why not? Y'all don't remember that why not video I did when I said, man, Subriel Matias going up to go see Boots, since they both shared the IBF. People like, oh nah, man, what did you? And like it was just weird. I said, man, they 2 predators, man. Like these guys, man, some of these guys are naturally big or balloon up or whatever, and because they're young, they get away with it. But naturally, man, these guys like Subriel Matias and the Boots, you put them up side by side when they not in camp, even though I think Subriel, he more closer to the walk-around rate. They got like the same frame. But they both fight under, but the thing is, for their division, they fight under the weight class to where you can only rehydrate 10 pounds unless it's a unification. So I went back in and I was looking at it. I'm like, well, okay, what can happen? How can that happen under the IBF? Because somebody just made an example. It wasn't mine, but somebody just gave an example about how when you undisputed, you can move up and you can grab any one of the belts. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's more to it than that. But under the IBF, it says that can't happen. You must be granted permission, and there must be a notice made, and you know it's some things. It's not much red tape to it, but it got to be requested. You know what I'm saying? It's not guaranteed, but it has to be. You have to like put in a request for it, and then it'll go through. And more than likely, it'll go through. But I think that's just to prevent any funny business. You know what I'm saying? How people can't say, oh, yeah, I got this going on. They really don't got that going on. They might have sent a flash card. They might have faxed over a flash card. Now, yeah, I'm in negotiation, but ain't nothing really going on. So I think they do that so that people don't get on no funny business. But I was on it when I was saying, okay, Subriel Matias should do it for Boots. And then I was also one of the ones that was sitting back and saying, man, what's this push to have Boots go to 154? Like, why everybody pushing now? I was like, man, now, you know, we got, let me go to it because a picture is worth 1,000 words. We got what I call D block because I was saying that the 147 division is no longer the glamour division, even though it is. You know what I'm saying? I just go with the flow what everybody else was saying. It's not. It's a rough, rugged. You don't know what you're going to get in this division. You don't know what you're going to get in this division. Gabriel Maestro came in and sniped Trevor the Sniper Marshall. And Trevor the Sniper Marshall, he was rising and climbing from the DMV. People act like they forgot who he was, but he was rising and climbing. Gabriel Maestre did that. Right? We seen Michael Fox get robbed by Gabriel Maestre, and Michael Fox from the DMV area put the boom ping pow down on Gabriel Maestre. Then we seen a rough, rugged contest between Murtazaliev and Gabriel Maestre. But Murtazaliev hasn't been the most active guy in the world. All those things happen at 47, and it's a storyline if you've been watching what's been going on. So I said, man, what's this push to have Boots go up to 54? I said, now is the time, because when he go up to 54, if he don't have something to offer or he don't have something, he's going to be dealing with the same situation. They're going to be saying the same thing they were saying about him now. Like, well, what do he have? Like, well, he got his belt. He got emailed his belt. Like, you know, people pick and choose when they want to use that, when they want to use that one. You know what I'm saying? I don't hold that. I mean, it's whatever, man. He got it. You know what I'm saying? He went and defended it. He about to defend it again. Okay, cool. But I was saying that, man, these guys up there, man, they're going to be looking at you like, because, you know, you a talented guy. They're going to be looking at you like, okay, well, what am I fighting for? What, just to fight Boots? Like what? For what? Just to look like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people were taking that posture. And I was saying, well, shoot, he needs some money behind him, because if he has some money behind him, because people will fight for the bread. And then I'm like, well, I mean, the bread, they must not be offers that these people just can't refuse. Like, when you got that kind of talent, you just want somebody to get in there. We are in the era where it's not like how it was before, when these guys couldn't afford to just stay out and just wait and be picky and choosy. These guys, a lot of these boxers used to have regular jobs. Like, they had to go get that bread. Like, they couldn't, I mean, yeah, they was getting paid. Like, yeah, back in the day, you'll have some exceptions to the rules, like the Sugar Ray Leonards and all that, but they had it, they could not sit back and just wait. So when it come down to Boots, I'm like, hey, listen, Eddie, man, you got to start giving these people an offer. I know it's ridiculous. I know they probably want an insane amount of money, but listen, man, you got to pay how you weigh. So my thought was, Boots, just stay at 47. If you can make that weight, since you're doing it under the IBF, you still going, and then you a big boy, but you still doing it to where you're doing it under the IBF and you only have that 10, and you still within that window. You're still able to do it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how hard or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? You make it look easy. You in pristine shape. Go ahead and just clean up 47, so that when you go up, they can't say anything. They can't say, oh, well, all you did was get emailed your belt, and then you just, what, you fought? Who you fought? Because they'll say, name somebody on his resume that Bud can't beat, or name somebody, like those, you know, whatever way you want to kind of try to depict it, whatever strategy, whatever, like whatever argument you putting out, or whatever, however, they're going to reason that, man, it ain't enough to fight Boots, bottom line. You know what I'm saying? When you really get the siphoning and siphoning, it be looking, the shit be looking and sounding kind of funny under the light, man. That's the reason why people are not saying no. But they'll harp on a time when Boots in this camp might have made a choice where, like, at that point in time, shit was different or whatever. I don't know, man. I'm not an insider. I'm just watching and paying attention. I said clean up 47 so you'll have something to offer when you go to 54. And then it was a chance where we almost got the Norman thing. Then they did this on us. They did this right here. They did the divide and conquer on us, right? So we really didn't get it. It just divided it divided the Ennises and it divided the Normans. And around that time, you know what I'm saying, Davis and Shakur, they was going through, you know what I'm saying, everything. So they did that. They kind of drove the wedge in the fans, right? But guess what we didn't get? We didn't get the unification. And even though I was looking back through there, man, in the IBF, and then the IBF says that once there's a notice, that the mandatory wants to fight, that makes everything after that null and void, man. You know, we were talking about this in real time, but that makes everything null and void. So it's like, man, it looked bad because the Normans, they pulled out of that fight because we was thinking, okay, well, it only makes sense if, you know, you want to hold on, make the defense, try to see if you can bring more to the table to, you know, secure something else. I don't know, but if that's your plan, that's your plan. Anyway, we get to see you in the Keyshawn fight. The next thing you know, we don't get to see you in the Keyshawn fight. So heads swivel back over there to like, dang, okay, well, it look like Boots is getting ready to get it on with, you know, he's getting ready to win that battle. So when you look back at the Norman Boots thing, they, like the Boots and them, you could probably say they won that battle because as long as his fight go through and everything goes through according to plan, they saved it. You know what I'm saying? Because he was looking kind of messy, but somehow Eddie sprinkled his magic, and we're going to get part 2, but then everybody's knocking the fact that we get a part 2, and the expectations are high. The expectations are real high for Boots. Like, they basically, everybody putting all this pressure for Boots to stop this man. I'm like, man, you don't know what Karan Chugajan could have been studying, who he could have been sparring, what he could have been doing, what he took away. Like, we don't know, man. So even though it's part 2 and people are like, well, nobody want to see that, we don't know, we still don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, we reason that Boots gonna do his thing, but you know what I'm saying, they still have to fight. That has to take place. So it was a minute ago, and I said, man, I said, me personally, the way I look at it, man, I still have Jermell Charlo as being the guy at 54. Right, I still do. I mean, you don't know because of inactivity and all that, but you don't know. But I still recognize him because he went by and beat all the champions to get his belts. It wasn't no one fight and I got it. All this, he cleaned up. Tim Tszyu came on the back end. And that's when everybody was jockeying for the Tim Tszyu. That's when everybody was jockeying for the Tim Tszyu thing, like a spot and trying to build him up or whatever, because he was on the opposite end of Mel, and people didn't really like. People was on this stuff with Mel where they didn't really appreciate what he was doing in the ring, and then the personality he had or whatever, they would use that to like just basically say, "Oh man, counsel him, counsel this, do this. We don't want that." You know what I'm saying? Just whatever, man. He was still that guy at 54. And I was saying, well, you know, I went through it. And I was basically talking about how Jermell is still, he's in the mix. Man, people are trying to retire that dude, man. They trying to retire him. But I still saw him as the man. Look at this. Let me stop that for a second. Yes. So for fair use, even though it's mine.
God just made me different. You know, he gave me a great smile, but he gave me a real serious look. And you can't really distinguish between if I'm angry or if I'm happy or if I'm sad, just because I don't have the personality to play. I have the personality to, and I'm not interested in making you laugh.
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. Man, I want to talk about Jermell Charlo. I think a lot of people are forgetting that Jermell Charlo is a major player in the division. And right now we're in the Terrence Bud Crawford era. He stepped his foot up. He actually was able to take a belt in his first fight up, and everybody's looking at him like he's the man at 154. With him being number one pound for pound, rightfully so. You know, the praises, you know, the analysis that are given, everything is pointing to Terrence Bud Crawford as being number one, and you can reason that maybe he is number one at 154 pounds. However, there was a man, Jermell Iron Man Charlo, who still pretty much can stake a claim to that division. And whether you come back at 154 in campaign, we don't know. Got an article that we're going to get into at the Zone Drop, according to Steven Espinosa and some of his thoughts. But I kind of wanted to remind everybody what was actually going on at 154 and actually put out some things that might have you using your thinking caps and help you when you're analyzing the state and the landscape of 154-pound division. 154-pound division is much like the 140 division, the one that I call the row, in which I believe that on any given night, depending on the matchups, it can go down. There are no foregone conclusions. We just recently seen Virgil Ortiz and Bohatrup. We've seen Terrence Crawford and Israel Madrimov. And we've also seen when Jermell Charlo had the reins prior to a year ago when he jumped up for that payday with Canelo Alvarez when he went up to 68 for his bag, his big check. And a lot of people allowed that performance that he had, that lackluster performance that he had against Jermell Charlo, to overshadow everything that the man was able to do at 154-pound division. And I want to remind everybody that Jermell Charlo actually cleaned out the 154-pound division. He became undisputed, and a lot of people don't put respect on his name. Everybody's saying that this guy is next up, that guy is next up, you know, and it also will kind of make someone believe that any onlookers or anybody that's been paying attention and following would throw shade at anybody else claiming stake or having a major stake and claim in the landscape of 154 pounds outside of Jermell Charlo. We're talking about names like Tim Tszyu, names like Fundora. When all actuality, Tim Tszyu was up next to fight Jermell, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. I think Jermell wasn't going to let anything to get in front of him ahead of his Canelo Alvarez payday. So he had a loose end on the tail end, but this was already after Jermell Charlo went by. He had his wars with Tony Harrison, where he lost and then came back and stopped that guy. You know, he had adversity against Brian Castano, where in the first fight, some might have said that Brian Castano won. It was ruled a draw. He came back, he stopped that man. He had Jason Rosario, he stopped that guy. He had Lubin, he stopped that guy early on. Now Lubin wants to come full circle and get it on again, which I think is a very good fight. I just think that a lot of people are not really giving Jermell Charlo the credence. They cannot separate him and the ties that he has from his twin brother, which is a lifelong thing that he's always going to either, you know, suffer the praise or the detraction of anything that his brother might do, and vice versa for him and his brother. Whenever he do something, his brother will have to take the backlash as well. But that man cleared out 154 division, very formidable, a true 154 pounder. Not sure if he's going to go to 160 or, you know, Steven is basically saying he's not going to go back up to 68. Let me talk about this article and let me bring it full circle, because I actually agree with Steven Espinosa in this article. It was about 13 hours ago. Promoter makes key prediction for Jermell Charlo's future fights, Alexander Netherton. This was on DAZN. He thinks the American would not do one thing again. Promoter Steven Espinosa believes it is unlikely that Jermell Charlo will fight at super middleweight again anytime soon. Charlo fought Canelo Alvarez last year, with the American moving up the weight classes for one of the biggest names in boxing. Canelo will next fight on September 14th against Edgar Berlanga. While many boxers offer to move up or down the divisions in pursuit of the lucrative clash with the Mexican, Espinosa believes that Charlo is likely to move down to middleweight or junior middleweight, where he is more comfortable. I've stayed in touch with them, Espinosa told Boxing Scene regarding the twins, Jermell and Jamal. I saw Jermell at the Tank fight, and he's ready to go, and I know he's motivated. He's disappointed in his performance against Canelo, as everyone else was, and he's definitely out to prove that was a fluke. He's as motivated and anxious to get back in there as ever, and there's a lot of activity available for him. There's a lot of good fights available for him at 54 or 60, wherever he decides. I don't think you'll see him at 68, where he fought Canelo again. He got a lot of mileage left. You've never seen Jermell take a significant amount of punishment. He's still athletic, and I think the sport is better when he and his brother are active. And salute to Steven Espinosa, man, standing in the gap for those who might have left us on red. You know, it's one thing, you know, I find it a lot, man, with some of my favorite fighters, man. Here lately, a lot of my guys been taking L's. And they left us on red immediately after that, where you don't really get to hear from them. You don't, you know, really see them. It's like once this happens, they just disappear. When they used to be very vocal and out in front of the camera. I can give 1,000 examples, but why? This is about Jermell Charlo in this video. And I hate to draw some of these comparisons, but what I kind of get is this is almost, it has a different nuance, but this is almost like when David Benavidez lost his belt and then Canelo Alvarez said, listen, I'm going to 68 and I'm going to let my dominion reign. And he went and fought Liam Smith and he went and, you know, gathered all the belts. He undisputed and never looked back at David Benavidez. I kind of feel the same way, whereas once Jermell Charlo moved up for that 68, he got stripped of many of his belts. And now everybody are heralding everybody there who have not cleaned out the division, who have not mixed it up with everybody in the manner in which Jermell Charlo did. And now it's a new sheriff in town in Terrence Bud Crawford. And everybody's either giving him, Fondor, or Tim Tszyu all of the limelight. Well, aside from Bud, I think that Jermell Charlo is the next up at 154. Why? Because he has equity in that division. He went through the ringer. You know, at a time where everybody was mixing it up and there was a lot of diversity, he fought some killers. He fought some boxers. You see what he did to John Jackson. There's a lot of things that he was actually able to do in that division, and he undisputed it. However, because of, you know, outside of the ring things and stuff like that, and our propensity to jump from bandwagon to bandwagon, there's a lot of other people that are getting a lot of love, which I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying that the man of the division, or a very, very highly formidable, reputable boxer at 154, is still Jermell Charlo. Like the article said, he has not taken a lot of punishment. We got to see him come back. And of course, we might not want to see him jump right back in there before actually, you know, knocking off a little bit of ring rust and seeing where he's at as far as making the weight again and all that. But when it comes down to that, he's the consummate professional as far as making weight and being ready and prepared for a fight. He's never in a dull fight. There's never a dull moment with Jermell Charlo. And just like all of the praises that Tim Tszyu has, all of the praises that Fondor has, Jermell Charlo should still be getting his praises at 154 pounds. You know, I think that a fight between him and Bud answers every question that we ever needed to know. Why? Because those are the two most formidable guys at 154, despite recency bias. I mean, we gotta keep it a buck when we're talking about it, and we gotta really truly analyze everything. Walk circumspectly when we start breaking these things down. I still think he has a lot of tread left on the tires. I do think that was a fluke. Being a big Jermell Charlo fan, man, his output, his power punch percentages, even just the attempts alone, it was uncharacteristic. I can't say it was just the way. I can't say that maybe he was just there to be there. Maybe he was just there to survive. It was uncharacteristic, the performance he put on with Canelo Alvarez. But what I can say is undeniable what he was able to do at 154 pounds. So if he reinserts himself back into that division, I think that he's going to still be a very formidable opponent at 154 pounds. What do you think? You know, I'm waiting for the return. You know, I think some of the young guys, they're getting their praises. They're getting their just dues. You know, they're getting their salutes. But we can't forget about Jermell Charlo, so I look forward to it. He left us on red, and apparently he's back. And according to Steven Espinosa, he's still good. He's still excited. I think he's got a little chip on his shoulder, a guy who always fights with a chip on his shoulder, always thinking that he's misunderstood, always thinking that he's underestimated, always thinking that he's disrespected. That's Jermell Charlo. And the kind of personality, the rah-rahness that he displays, he's one of them guys that puts that on inside the ring. And more than likely or not, you're not surviving Jermell Charlo when he's on his A game in his division, which is 154 pounds. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Talk to me, I'll talk back. Remember, this is fact-based content. Them fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. Anyway, thanks for tuning in here at Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work. August the 13th. So that was August the 13th, right? That was my tone then. That was just August the 13th. I was the same way. Been the same way. I was the same guy that said, listen, man, a lot of people were giving Tim Tszyu a lot of praise. I said, but in all essence, he got his belt the same way that Boots got his belt. I said, so why do people walk around like Boots? They make sure they say email champion for Boots, but they don't say that about Tim Tszyu. But they got their belts the same way. The only difference is Tim Tszyu was fighting at 154. Boots wasn't. You still can't deny the knockout rate. You still can't deny, like, when people avoid triangle theories, you still can't avoid because the triangle theory, like when people say, oh, common opponents, that's a triangle theory. You still can't avoid it. You can't get around it. So I was saying, man, Tim Tszyu had got his belt the same way Boots did. He was in a war with Fondor. He was in a war with Fondor. Got cut. He had a setback. Then he found himself in there with Murtazaliev. There was a lot of people, you know, when I was saying about these Monday morning quarterbacks, man, all these people that was out here, I was like, man, like, people knew him because they watched, boxing junkies gonna go back and watch all the highlights. But it's one thing to be when you're a boxing junkie, you go back and watch the highlights and or any full fights you can see, then all of a sudden you the guru. You the Murtazaliev whisperer now. Like, come on, man, stop it, man. Like, y'all, we do this every time, man. And we did the same thing with Boychuk, even though I think Boychuk won. But people was acting like they knew him forever, and like it was, you know, Boychuk. It's like, man, come on, man. AC be saying whisperer, like he be saying whispers, you know. I'm like, yeah, but listen, man, these are the Thundercats at 54. Right? The same way I was an advocate of Sabril Matias, I was saying why not? And just because we in the era now where I gotta actually show this because people are not gonna, they pretty much not gonna believe it. But I gotta show this. Just to let you know, I don't just be popping up, man. This is I stay pretty consistent with this. You know what I'm saying? I don't just be yip yapping. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, these don't be the ones that be getting the congregation jumping for joy. You know, body work still gonna make some noise. Where is it at? Just because people be thinking. Here we go. All right, here we go. Let me see. Here we go. Look at this. I'm not gonna play another video. I'm just saying. Watch this. Watch this. Just watch this. Look at this. This is why I say, man, like when I say I be consistent, if you look right here, what this say? Who is this? This is Matias. This is Sabril Matias. This is Boots. It may not be much, but 960 something people saw that. That was on January the 11th. Who was this? This was Sabril Matias. This was Devin. This was Sabril Matias. And this was Gary Antoine. But you see right here when I said, why not? I said, why not right here? Elvis Rodriguez. Because I was looking since I was paying attention, and I believe 140, that's like my division. You know, so I was looking for an opponent. I was looking at the implications right here for Sabril Matias and Richardson Hitchens. And then I talked about recency bias when everybody jumped on the bandwagon of Pitbull when he got it. But that's just called consistency. I even put on here when Keyshawn was actually giving Sabril his credit. That's on wax. I even had a Sabril and a Shakur. Why not? Because Shakur was saying he would go to 40. And I'm like, y'all all got to mix it up. Sabril and T.O. That's what you call consistency. I don't know what people be talking. I'm like, well, why did Devin and them have Barbosa as a standby when they came out and said, remember that initial press conference when they came out and said that they were going to fight Ryan, and they brought him, and this was the first pump fake right here. When they brought Barbosa out here and they told Ryan, yeah, if you mess up, man, we got him on reserve. So he's going to step in for your place. 1,777 people saw it. Even when the whole stuff that was going on with Sabril Matias and Devin and that whole thing, not just when Devin was getting into it with Tank or when he was getting into it with, I was keeping track of him. If you were in or around that division, I'm keeping track of it. I'm gonna speak on it. So I came out and I did where is it? It don't really matter. Okay, that's it. It don't really matter. But that's just to let you know that y'all know that when it comes down to it, when it's all broken down, I'll be pretty consistent with these suggestions. But instantly I start saying, you know what? I said, man, listen, Boots is in the cash roll because people are starting to say, are they going to age Boots out? Right? Because pretty much Bud done shut the door on it. So whether he go to 54 or not, I think that whether he go to 54 or not, the only way I think he can still get a Bud fight is if he do the unthinkable, the unimaginable. This is the IBF. He's the IBF at 47. He's the IBF at 54. They had to put in some paperwork. Got to be accepted. But that's the only way. That's the only way because that's the only way that I believe he could possibly get a Bud fight. Because if Bud going to be undisputed at 54 and you go up there and grab a strap, now you went up there and you grabbed a strap from somebody who eliminated the guy that people were saying. I ain't gonna say skill wise and all that. I'm talking about the fact that y'all both got y'all belts the same way. The way they was viewing Tim Tszyu versus the way they view you. So now you would be going up and you would be taking your strap off of somebody who won it in a tough fight during Ramadan and then came back and defended it and stopped Tszyu in 3 rounds. you will be relieving this champion of his strap. You in the IBF, you could put the paperwork in. If you fighting a Karan Chukajan, you could fight a Bakram Murtazaliev. That's the only way I'm thinking, man. That would be, because I'm like, dang, when I seen the other day, I'm like, man, Bud and them, they shut the door on that boot shit not too long ago. They were like, man, listen, man, nope, it ain't gonna happen. Only way we can see it is if you go up there and get that strap. And that's just coming from fans that want to see, you know what I'm saying? We want to see that, man. We still want to see that. That's the only way that's going to happen. And in the process, you will make your bones if you're going to do it. If you're not going to do that, you got to go ahead and stay down there and clean up. You got to clean up D-Block. You got to put Mario Barrios out of his misery. You got to relieve Norman of that strap. And then knock, you know what I'm saying? Take Stanyana's strap. But if you talking about power moves or being stuck in the mud, wheels just turning, you getting a lot of knockouts. You getting to the bag now, which is good for you. But like spinning the wheels and thinking that something going to change, if the money offers ain't changing and these people are not getting offers that they just can't refuse, then you gotta use what you can use. Almost like how Shakur move. Shakur go to the sanctioning body like, hey, look here, you know what I'm saying? A la Jamil Herring, you know what I'm saying? A la that Devin situation. Shakur, he don't play. Shakur go to that sanctioning body, boom. He getting, you know what I'm saying? He's, you know, I give him credit. He proved with it. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get down. Run me what's mine. Let's run this across. And it was been effective. So to my understanding, when I looked it up, you know what I'm saying? There's other people that talk about these things. They can have it. You know what I'm saying? That's not my lane. But if you go and you look up those rules for the IBF and him moving up, it's a request. I know you got this thing coming up, but it's a request. And I'm asking, why not? Why not? Because that's the only thing, man. Right now, the way, if it's the way you saying it, if it's the way that all of the Boots fans are saying, the only fans, if it's the way that they're saying it, none of these other guys like Stan Giannis don't want to fight, and because I've seen interviews with Stan Giannis, and he's saying, listen, I signed the paper and said yes. I know he got caught up with the Virgil Ortiz for a while. 3 fights they were tangled up. Appendicitis on his end, rhabdomyolysis on Virgil's end. Twice. 3 fights, and then Virgil moved up. So between that and then waiting on Earl Spence, taking a step aside for Earl Spence and Bud to go down, I mean, Stanyana's been there. So I'm a solution-oriented individual, and it's almost like a cross. It's almost like a cross, either straight across, you standing up and you go straight across and you wipe up D-Block. Now you undisputed. Now it don't matter. Now the resume, the record, all of that, they're not going to say, oh man, who has he beaten, this and this and that, because the names don't stand out like that. They're not going to say that. The common opponent and all that, they're not going to have to use that, all that. They're going to say, oh man, they're going to treat you like they treat Devin when they say this man was undisputed. Except for your run is going to be your run is almost going to be like Jermell Charlo's. Almost. Because he fought for all his straps off of different champions. So that's why I say Jermell's run was the hardest. But if you go straight across like a cross, you wipe out D-Block, then cool. When you go up, or, you know, unless you just want to start breaking out the bread for everybody, unless Eddie going to open up the purse, you know what I'm saying, and make these guys offer that they can't refuse, because the clock is ticking, man. And in a way, if they do you like how I said they did Jamal Charlo, they did Jamal Charlo about the same way, man. The dude couldn't get a fight to save his life. He made Dennis Hogan do a back roll, and people like, oh man, look at what he's doing. Everybody else get credit for Dennis Hogan. I ain't never seen one of these motherfuckers make Dennis Hogan do a back roll. This ain't wrestling. You don't get no credit. They aged him out, man. I don't want that to happen with Boots. And the only way I see Boots getting bud is if he cleared out, or if he cleared out real quick. Well, I don't think the timing for that. The way these fights and the way they getting match made, because it's probably a fight and then a unification and then a fight or two or whatever layoff and then another unification. By that time, man, I think Bud gonna be gone. You know what I'm saying? But if you move up and you grab that strap off of Bakram, now you're in the game, baby. Because if Bud just want to fight, if it's either Bud get his Canelo and he ride off in the sunset, or if he going to undisputed at 54, there you go. There you go. That's the only way. Like, that's the only way, man. That's me as a fan. That's me as a guy looking at it from Boots' perspective. That's me as looking at it from Bud's perspective. That's me looking at the big picture. Why wouldn't Murtazaliev, he took step aside, he was paid very handsomely. You know what I'm saying? He was paid very handsomely for it. You know, so I mean, he was getting taken care of. You know, it wasn't no telling how much he was training and what he was watching, and if he was stalking everybody in the division, who knows? We'll have to see. But if he took pride, because if you look at his face, even though the language barrier, his facial expressions was telling it all. Because at that press conference, he was sitting there like, yeah, you know, like basically, I hear him all. He basically said, listen, man, hopefully all of the talking is done. We'll have a fight on Saturday night. You know, I look forward to seeing y'all there. That's how his response. Everything for him was directed back to, listen, man, I think we've said everything that we can say. He's an awesome opponent. I can't wait to see him on Saturday night. That was the approach he took. And in a way, even after if the translation was right, he was very humble after having done what he did to Zoo and what he said about Zoo. He said, hopefully they can work together, they can spar, and they can help each other grow after this. Classy. You know what I'm saying? I think he called out some names later, but that was classy. Why would, like, if the money's right, Boots would be coming up as the IBF champion. In that same vein, where you at? Going up to the weight division higher, put that paperwork in, it get accepted. Everybody make notice after he do his thing. On this next fight with Karan, he handled that business. Why wouldn't Murtazaliev not want to say, hey, and maybe I can expose Boots? Why wouldn't Boots' mentality be like, oh man, yep, I'm about to make an example out of this dude? Because everybody around be saying, Boots say anything from 47 to 68. Let's get it. I'm like, okay, well, just like I didn't want him to jump over 54 and go straight to 60, I would love for him to do this. I would love for him to do this now. Now, of course, Bakram, he can go back to the drawing board. He can figure out what he's going to do. It's, he has the belt. You know what I'm saying? He deserves his little break or whatever he's going to do. And allow the time. You can let the beat build a little bit. He can entertain, this and this and that. I don't know, man. What y'all think? Do y'all think that this makes sense? I do. Because Boots is going to be like, if these guys are not going to fight him, they're going to play the same game at 54. We already heard the rumblings with Cromwell saying that, oh man, that money wasn't, you can say what you want as far as about if you want to say, oh man, well, Conwell this or that, you can say whatever you want about him. But my whole thing is, the fans are not seeing the fight. And objectively, if I look at it from a fan's perspective, it's like, well, why aren't the fans seeing the fight? It's not because it's this big gap in talent and skill and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's inches. It's seconds. It's angles. That fight can happen, but why is it not happening? Money. Or people can't legitimize the legacy of it. Them two can get in the ring and it could be one of the best fights ever. It could be a trilogy. You don't know. We don't know until we actually see these fights, but it ain't no legacy on it. They're going to play the same game at 54, all of them. I had even recommended one time that, well, look, man, this is how it normally happens. If they all shutting the door on Boots, but the money was right, and Jamel need to, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that, definitely not saying that Boots would be no tune up or no get ready fight or no none of that. I also, in several videos, I insinuated that if Boots gonna move up, since everybody acting like Jamel Charlo got the plague, why not with Jamel? Like, and I said in that video, Jamel might want to come back and knock some rust off before he really do something. But that's another option. But this option, I want to know, what do you think about this? This makes sense to me. If you're looking at it from the legacy standpoint, if you're looking at it from a money standpoint, especially if they build off of this momentum, if they use that IBF lane, that channel, I seen some grumblings of it. I said, yeah, those are the people that kind of thinking along the lines of me. I'm with it. I'm committed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a good look. Greetings from Ubacoa, Puerto Rico. I love boxing, but my Yankees are on, and my Nets are playing to hopefully make it a Subway Series. See you soon. Okay, Eric. Thanks for checking in. By the way, I told you, Murtazaliev. Yes, you did. Salute our money. Salute. Man. By the way, my mom just made 92 on Wednesday. Salute to Mom Dukes. Definitely, man. And yes, keep up the good work. We both picked Murtazaliev, though. Remember? Yes, you did. I give you credit. It's on wax, man. Even if I denied it, I can't because it's already on wax. Matias fighting a 102 world rank opponent for his comeback. If he loses, he's done. I don't got him losing, man. And I don't even know about their promotions, man. It's like they're not catering anything to anybody over here. It's like they went local. I don't know, man. I got some homework, but I've been looking. Trust me, I've been trying to find something to go by. I'm like, it's not a good. I don't just fabricate stuff. You know what I'm saying? But salute for that. His twin body work. Salute everyone. Salute his twin. But yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. That's really the gist of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go all overboard about it. I just think it makes sense. Remember, Jamel is still in the mix. We don't know if it's gonna be 60, but they're saying he's coming back. He still got some stakes in the ground, some things he can lay claim to. It's just like Devin can lay claim to the Puello fight. He in recess. Nobody's saying nothing about it. Man. So when you champion in recess and you don't come, if you're hey, listen. Let me speak to the ladies, man, real quick. If your man, if he get up and go to the bathroom, right, and on his return, because when he coming back, you can see him, but he sees somebody else sitting right there in the seat. If he leave and you gotta wait till y'all get home to meet him, don't go home. Don't go home, man, because if somebody take your strap, right, and you the one in recess, man, you gotta go get your seat back, man. Like, I don't care if it's, like I say, I don't care if it's a Sasquatch sitting in your seat, man. It's on principle, man. He could drag knuckles all across your shit, man. You gotta go get your seat back, man. You gotta go get your seat back, man. Every night, I got to prove my love. You got every night. You gotta prove. Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's how it is. It's brutal. Very, very brutal. those are my thoughts, man. I hope, I would love to see the people. I would love to see how they spend it. They you know, some people gonna say, oh man, look at it, man. They just want Boost to fight everybody. It's like, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Like remember when Keyshawn, he was getting mad because people kept asking about Cruz. I'm like, man, listen, man, they think you can fight, man. So they want to see you fight everybody. If you a Tank fan, they think Tank's so good, they want to see him fight everybody. You gotta recognize, ain't nothing wrong with everybody wanting him to fight everybody. Ain't no fan wrong for wanting to see this fighter fight that fighter. No fan is wrong for that. I might be the only place where you're gonna hear that, bro. Like, listen, if you're a fan and you want to see that guy fight that guy, there's nothing wrong with that. The minute somebody try to tell you it is, then something's wrong with them, not you. That's your right. The issue is when it makes sense or not. Because right now, if you look at the campaign that's going on, somebody got a very big fight in December, and somebody is getting all this promotion and press, and they haven't fought in 2 years. It don't make sense. And I actually want to see it. But people will pull people up off the couch. People will pull people up off the couch. Let's not forget how we actually got a Tyson Fury back in the mix. Let's not forget. You pull people up off the couch, strange things happen, man. So people will pick a weird time to take somebody and snatch it from over here and insert them over here, and it's just like a lot of people that be saying Keith Thurman, and I'd be like, man, listen, man, I would love to see Keith Thurman before it's too late, man. Because we don't want to Danny. They the last of the Mohicans, man. I think Keith, if he's still considered active, he's one of the last of the Mohicans in that. Bud is actually the last of the Mohicans, for real. He's actually the last of the Mohicans because he's the last. I think he's the oldest one. But from that, Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, that whole wave. I think Earl Spence, he was counting on the lower end. He was the youngest one. But people bring up Keith Thurman, and I'm like, man, well, Keith got to get active or something. We got to see something from Keith. Like, Keith can't. It was good. I'm glad. Hey, salute to Prime, and look, however y'all had that situation, PBC, man, because I'll take Keith Thurman, even though he was talking too proper. I'm like, Keith, just be yourself, man. You know me be coming with the jokes, but I love the way Keith talked about it above Abner Mares, man. Man, that was refreshing, man. Abner, man, oh my goodness. Depending on who fighting, man, oh my gosh. It was refreshing to hear Keith Thurman. If you're going, you can't do both, though. You know what I'm saying? You can't do both. But people inject Keith Thurman into a conversation. I'm just like, why are we doing that? Let's talk about the relevant ones, because Keith got to get active. Gary got to get active. That's it. I think everybody know that. That's all he got to do, and then, you know what I'm saying? Because Gary can talk that talk. If it get, man, Gary can promote, and he can fight his ass off. He just got to get something on the books, and everybody going to ride. When it come down to him fighting one of these other guys, people going to choose sides, and everybody going to ride. But they got to get active. That's just like the clock is ticking on Spence. He got to, you know what I'm saying? That got to get active. Is it a tall mountain to climb? No pun intended with Fundora. Absolutely. Very dangerous fight. Very dangerous fight. Because didn't we see Tim Tszyu when he got hit, he did that thing like he thought he had a flashback of what happened. He kept looking for blood and going like this and stuff. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? We don't know what's going on with Spence. Like when he get hit, you know what I'm saying? He get hit flush in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to get up, you know what I'm saying? With the smaller gloves, it's not sparring, no headgear. And somebody might be able to recreate that trauma. We don't know what's going to happen. You got to get active, man. Lubin, he got to get back in there, man. Lubin he at this point, the way he like, man, just give me a body in here. Get active. You get active, and then when on fight night you get busy, you gonna get. I mean, it's gonna go. We in the recency bias era now, where the most recent things and what's most recent on people's mind, that's all they want to cater to. They don't want to look at the big picture, go back in time and evaluate everything wholly. They just want to pick something, put it out there, get you outraged about it, see what they can make off of it, then flip-flop tomorrow. That's pretty much it. Or be a Monday morning quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I think Murtazaliev proved that he was a Thundercat. I think he proved he is a Thundercat. That's it right now. As for right now, that's it. This is it right here for 54. But my question to you, man, if you catch this on the playback, holler at me, talk to me, I'll talk back. My question is, why not? What do you think? Remember, this is fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. The alternative to opinion-based content. This is fact-based. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody, man, who always come through and holler at your boy, man, and you know what I'm saying? Even if you just pop in and say hello, man, I appreciate you. But that's the question, man. I want to see how people going to spin this around. You know what I'm saying? How will this be spun? You know what I'm saying? What side will you choose? Will it be messy? Will it be toxic? Will it be scientific? Will you have sound explanations? I'm not sure. We'll have to reevaluate. We'll have to reevaluate the situation. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all. I really do, man. Like, make sure you do some body work this week, man. And be sure to tune into my latest video. I did one called The Devastating Right Hand of Bakoli. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga? Right. Oh, okay. You want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.